Skeleton worker. This skeleton, number 748, according to the number chiseled above its brow, is odd only in that some of its teeth appear to be false ones made of reddish brown stone. They're clearly not valuable, however, as its caretakers would have otherwise removed them. 1. Pardon me, have you seen any skeletons walking around here? 2. I have to ask, why the smock? I mean, it's not like you have anything to be modest about. 3. Examine the skeleton carefully. Nameless one. Examine the skeleton carefully. Skeleton worker. Someone has taken care to bind the bones of this skeleton with leather straps, woven around the body in such a pattern that they resemble muscles and tendons. The straps are secured to metal bolts punched into the skeleton's joints. This skeleton looks like it has seen a great deal of service. Many of its bones are chipped, and its numerous fractures are bound with sealant and foul-smelling glues. Try and pry out the skeleton's joint bolts. Mort. Whoa, Chief. That's vandalism. Those bolts are probably the only thing holding that bag of bones together. Necromancy only goes so far with these old fellas, you know. 1. So, I too. Oh. I didn't want to cause any permanent damage. Mort. Oh, it's not a problem. Mort does a strange bobbing motion that you think might be a shrug. Lust wasn't sure if you knew that or not. By all means, go ahead. Try and pry out the skeleton's joint bolts. Skeleton worker. Using your pry bar, you rip the bolts from the skeleton's joints. The skeleton collapses, some of its bones still twitching. Sorry about that, Bones. Wooden club. This crude wooden club has seen better days, but it still looks sturdy enough to be used as a weapon. Skeleton worker. This skeleton seems particularly old, the leather straps binding it together cracked and worn. The word repent has been carefully engraved into its forehead with some amount of skill. A rougher hand later chiseled 996 onto both its temples. Nameless one. Examine the skeleton carefully. Skeleton worker. Someone has taken care to bind the bones of this skeleton with leather straps, woven around the body in such a pattern that they resemble muscles and tendons. The straps are secured to metal bolts punched into the skeleton's joints. This skeleton looks like it has seen a great deal of service. Many of its bones are chipped, and its numerous fractures are bound with sealant and foul-smelling glues. Try and pry out the skeleton's joint bolts. Skeleton worker. Using your pry bar, you rip the bolts from the skeleton's joints. The skeleton collapses, some of its bones still twitching. Sorry about that, Bones. Skeleton worker. The skeleton turns to face you. 42 has been chiseled into its forehead, and a number of its bones, mostly the jaws and the joints, have been bound with leather straps. A black smock is draped over its body. 1. I think this is the corpse I had that memory about. 2. Pardon me, have you seen any skeletons walking around here? 3. I have to ask, why the smock? I mean, it's not like you have anything to be modest about. 4. Examine the skeleton carefully. 5. Try and pry out the skeleton's joint bolts. 6. Leave the skeleton in peace. 3. Nameless one. I think this is the corpse I had that memory about. Skeleton worker. At the sound of your voice, the skeleton suddenly straightens up. It crosses its arms over its chest, and its fingers hook into its rib cage. Cross your arms over your chest. Skeleton worker. In response, the skeleton drops its arms to its sides. The leather cords securing the skeleton's torso snap, and the rib cage folds outward like a pair of double doors. Reach into the rib cage, feel around. Skeleton worker. To your surprise, your hand vanishes as you reach inside the rib cage. You have a strange feeling it's somewhere else. As you reach inside the rib cage, your hand bumps against an invisible object. It's about the size of a fist and seems to be attached to the skeleton's spine. Take the item out. Skeleton worker. As you pull the item out, the skeleton suddenly disintegrates, and the iron bolts securing its joints clatter to the floor. Whatever this item was, it seems to have been the only thing holding it together. Examine the item. Skeleton worker. It looks like an unremarkable lump of iron. You can't imagine why someone would hide it inside the rib cage of a skeleton. Examine the piece of iron. Skeleton worker. As you place both your hands on the lump of iron to examine it, there is a HSSSSS, and the metal evaporates, leaving behind a strange dagger, a handful of coins wrapped in a dirty cloth, and 2 bloody teardrops. These look like they were inside the lump of iron. Take the items and leave.
I couldn't carry any more, so I had to drop it.
Contact the necromancer responsible for raising contractual worker 42. I know he's examined the skeleton before, but I am certain the initial raising of the body was warped. The worker still responds to commands, but when it has completed a task, it resumes pacing in the same circular pattern as it did before. Dahl recently informed me that Worker 42 exhibited that same walking pattern when it was a zombie decades ago. There may be a soul echo in the marrow, or the skeleton's age may have caused the magic animating him to decay. One of the initiates suggested it may be following an order issued by a higher-ranking dustman in the past, but I have found no records of such an order. Whatever the reason for its behavior, the matter is to be resolved or the worker replaced. Day 0, Hour 12. Watching Hive stitch up the corpse with her talons triggered a strange memory. I recall performing a similar operation on a corpse, long ago, except that I think I was placing something inside its chest rather than taking something out. It felt like I was putting whatever it was in there, so I could retrieve it later. In the memory, when crossed my arms, the corpse itself crossed its arms as well. It had the number 42 written on its scalp. Green steel knife. This razor-sharp knife has been forged out of the famed Mortuarian green steel, found only in the wastelands of Avernus. This peculiar green ore can be tempered into metal much lighter than normal steel. In addition, green steel weapons tend to retain their remarkably fine edges and are capable of dealing out more damage than their standard counterparts. Rags. This thick mass of rags look as if they were torn from a tapestry or someone's robes. Iron spike. This is a crude iron spike covered with rust. If necessary, you could use it as a dagger. Leather strap. This is a leather strap used to bind the skeleton worker's bones together. Although the strap is frayed along the edges, it still looks pretty strong. Dustman mail. The dustmen are the caretakers of the mortuary, a huge morgue filled with bodies. The faction seems to be a pretty somber bunch, rarely showing expression or interest in anything. They seem intent only upon taking care of all the dead bodies that come into the mortuary, cataloging them, preparing them, then burying them somewhere. Skeleton. These skeletons have been given a semblance of life 7 through necromancy. Although these skeletons have no ligaments or musculature, their joints are bound with thin metal bolts, and their bones appear bound with leather straps and cords wound beneath their armor. Skeletons suffer less damage from any slashing or piercing weapons. Crushing weapons, such as clubs and hammers, inflict normal damage. 7. This mummified corpse looks like it's bound for the crematorium. Dustman. The dustman regards you with a stony gaze. Are you lost? Nameless one. No, I'm not lost. I had some questions. Dustman, if you are not lost, what is your business here? Nameless one, I'm here to see someone. Dustman, who are you here to see? Adden, does he still work here, or? Dustman, that name is not familiar to me. Check with one of the guides at the front gate. They may be able to direct you better than I. Very well, I will do that. Farewell. Dustman. The dustman nods, then returns to his duties. Walk away. Zombie worker. This reanimated corpse has had its lips sewn together and the numbers 310 carved into its brow. The smell of formaldehyde permeates the area around it. It turns its lifeless eyes upon you as you move to bar its path. Nameless one. So, seen anything interesting going on? Zombie worker. The corpse continues to stare at you. Leave the corpse in peace. Zombie worker. Despite this corpse's dry, leathery skin, it's clear this was once a beautiful woman of middle years. Whomever prepared the corpse seemed to take pity on her, sewing her bow lips shut with small, neat stitches and tattooing the number 832 upon her forehead in elegant script. Nameless one. So, doing anything later? Zombie worker. The corpse continues to stare at you. Farewell then. Skeleton worker. This animated skeleton smells horrible, as if it had been only freshly stripped and prepared. Its jaw and major joints are tightly bound with leather straps, and a rough smock has been thrown over it. The number 122-1 has been chiseled into its forehead. Pardon me, have you seen any skeletons walking around here? Skeleton worker. The skeleton makes no reply. Great talking to you, Bones. Stay healthy. Mort. Wonder if this graybeard would mind if I borrowed his body. 1. Graybeard. 2. I don't think he's in any position to object. 3. Something tells me you would be twice as annoying if you had arms. Let's go. Nameless one, Graybeard. Mort, Graybeard. You know, geezer, old feller, yellow dog. Old. Well, I don't think he's in any position to object. Why not take his body? Mort studies the skeleton for a moment, then shakes his head. Nah, I need a fresher one than this. And something with a little more dignity. This one's all creaky and fractured. And you're not. Mort. Oh, you're a sack full of laughs. Mort glares at you. Besides, you're one to talk, Burke. Mirrors beg for mercy when you're around. Oh yeah? At least I have all my parts. Mort snorts. You're not quite sure how he managed it without lungs. Let me tell you, Mort, there's nothing more satisfying than walking around, swinging your arms, breathing the crisp air through the lungs. It's great to have a body. Mort, I'll have you know that helping you escape the preparation room has now been added to my growing list of regrets. Mort snorts again. I should have let you rot. Some more, that is. Underscore. Glad you feel that way. Let's go. Zombie worker. This looks to be the corpse of a well-aged, even ancient woman. Aside from the embalming fluid stink, the stitches sealing her mouth, and the number 679 stitched onto her right cheek, it's likely she looks only slightly different now than she did in her final years. So, doing anything later? Zombie worker. The corpse continues to stare at you. Farewell, then. Zombie worker. The corpse's meaty head was clearly severed at some point and hastily sewn back on. Several different sets of stitching, all in various states of unraveling, seem to indicate that the head is constantly being knocked back off and reattached during the course of its work. A number, 79, has been cut into its temple, circumscribed by a fanged circle that appears to 1 millimeter. 1 millimeter. Manning, M1. Doc.Mimc. Examine the fanged circle. Zombie worker. The fanged circle looks like it was branded on the corpse's forehead long ago, presumably before it died. It might be a religious icon of some sort, or a rite of passage. You notice that one of the recesses between the inner fangs has a small triangle within it, as if it has some special significance. I wonder if the space between the fangs match the grooves on this copper earring I have.
Updated my journal.
Zombie worker. The corpse makes no reply. It looks like it is too far gone to answer any of your questions. Leave the corpse in peace. Day 0, hour 16. Found a strange fanged circular symbol on the forehead of zombie #79. It just looking at the symbol reminded me of the ancient copper earring I got from the southeast preparation room. Perhaps the two are connected. Ancient copper earring closed. This copper earring looks ancient. Oddly enough, there doesn't seem to be a hook or any means of actually attaching it to your ear. A series of strange grooves have been carved on the inside of the earring, however, which might merit a closer examination. Ancient copper earring. This copper earring looks extremely old. It looks like it was meant to be worn, but there doesn't seem to be a hook or any means of actually attaching it to your ear. There is a series of strange grooves on the inside of the earring, however. (1) Examine the grooves. Ancient copper earring. The grooves are evenly spaced along the inside of the earring. Upon closer examination, they remind you of small fangs. They are definitely man-made, but you can't figure out what they were intended for. Insert your fingernail into the notch that matches where the triangle was pointing in the fanged circle you saw on zombie number 79's forehead. Ancient copper earring. You hook your fingernail into the third groove from the top and press it inwards. As you do, there is a click and the top of the earring snaps open. Not only can you wear the earring now, it also looks like there is a secret compartment inside the earring. Shake the earring, see if anything comes out. Ancient copper earring. You shake the earring, but nothing comes out. Whatever was hidden in the earring is gone now. Put the earring away. Ancient copper earring, hollow. This ancient copper earring has a series of grooves cut along the inside. Although there doesn't appear to be an obvious way to wear it, it can be unlocked by hooking your fingernail into the third groove from the top and pressing inwards. Not only does this allow the earring to be worn, but it also opens up a hollow compartment inside the earring where messages or other small items can be stored. The earring might be worth more to a merchant as a result. Zombie worker. The corpse's meaty head was clearly severed at some point and hastily sewn back on. Several different sets of stitching, all in various states of unraveling, seem to indicate that the head is constantly being knocked back off and reattached during the course of its work. It was great talking to you. Farewell. Zombie worker. The numbers 613 are cut deeply into this plodding corpse's forehead, but an inch of shredded, leathery skin separates the 1 and the 3. Looking closely, you can barely make out a 2 carved there. Aye, so. Seen anything interesting going on? Zombie worker. The corpse continues to stare at you. Leave the corpse in peace. Zombie worker. The skin of this female corpse is heavily tattooed with intricate patterns. The skin of her brow has been peeled back so that the number 148 could be chiseled into the skull beneath. Her mouth has been sealed shut with thick, rough stitching. It was great talking to you. Farewell. Zombie worker. The number 146 is carved into the forehead of this walking corpse. Its lips are sewn together with coarse, black thread. The entire body is covered in horrible scars, worse, even, than your own, as if its owner had been burned to death. Its nose, ears, and several digits are missing, presumably charred away in some long-ago conflagration. As you block its path to get its attention, it stops and gazes at you with vacant eyes. I so, seen anything one tourist wanting going on. Zombie worker. The corpse continues to stare at you. Leave the corpse in peace. Skeleton worker. This skeleton has either seen a great deal of combat or has fallen down one too many staircases. Both its arms and legs have been broken and rebuilt with the aid of leather straps and thin iron rods. The front of its skull bears the number 863, but the back of the skull has caved in, forming an empty cavity. You notice that someone has taken advantage of this and tucked a rolled-up piece of parchment inside the skull. Take the parchment out of the skeleton's skull. Skeleton worker. You slip the parchment out of the worker's skull. Oddly enough, it looks as if the skull cavity is intended to store messages. A tiny string is attached to the parchment from a hook bolted inside the skull, as if to keep the parchment from accidentally falling out. Unhook the string, take the parchment. Skeleton worker. You unhook the string and glance over the parchment. It looks like a reminder from one of the mortuary custodians. Judging from the note, this skeleton seems to be a walking messenger of sorts. As you take a second glance at the skeleton, you realize it has stopped in front of the slab because it can't figure out how to move past it. Examine the skeleton again. Skeleton worker. This skeleton looks like it has seen a great deal of action, either because of combat or by falling down one too many staircases. Both its arms and legs have been broken and rebuilt with the aid of leather straps and thin iron rods. The front of its skull bears the number 863, but the back of the skull has caved in, forming an empty cavity. Examine the skeleton carefully. Skeleton worker. Someone has taken care to bind the bones of this skeleton with leather straps, woven around the body in such a pattern that they resemble muscles and tendons. The straps are secured to metal bolts punched into the skeleton's joints. This skeleton looks like it has seen a great deal of service. Many of its bones are chipped, and its numerous fractures are bound with sealant and foul-smelling glues. Leave the skeleton in peace. I have to ask, are those broken bones from combat or from falling down? Skeleton worker. The skeleton makes no reply. Great talking to you, Bones. Stay healthy. Mortuary reminder message. This rolled up piece of parchment appears to be some sort of message the skeleton in the mortuary was supposed to deliver. This is the third and last request for the pry bar. If it has been misplaced, tell me, and I shall go to the Hive market and purchase another. I have no objection to maintaining the contracted workers, but I've been trying to repair the skeletons, and the bolts are wedged in so tight I can't get them out. Also, some of the locks on the storage cabinets on the third floor have become stuck again due to the heat, and I need the pry bar to snap them open as well. If the pry bar is indeed lost, I will see about procuring the services of a locksmith and having the cabinet locks replaced. Your aid in this matter would be appreciated. An unreadable signature has been scrawled beneath the message. Zombie worker. This corpse's slightly misshapen head appears to be held together by a number of narrow metal bands bolted directly onto the skull. A rusting iron plate over its left eye has the number 475 etched into it. Its mouth is bolted shut, and it reeks of embalming fluid. Aye, so. Seen anything one tourist wanting going on. Zombie worker. The corpse continues to stare at you. Leave the corpse in peace.